Hey everyone, thank you for downloading or watching the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode 104. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What's going on? It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. I was away last episode. I was in scenic Brooklyn, New York. And where I am now is also scenic Brooklyn, New York. I'm back already.
Which is not, yeah, I can, well, I can tell. I know anybody watching can't tell, but yeah, welcome back. Thank you for ditching me for SummerSlam and WWE.
No problem. It's what we do.
Yep, and maybe now's a good time to say thank you once again to Frank from the Better Half podcast for filling in. I thought he did a fantastic job and can replace you any day.
Absolutely. Wait a minute, what? No, it's a great show, great episode, Frank. Thank you very much for hanging tough there, and subbing for me. That's what we do here at the More of the Same family of podcasts. And you guys, I love the topic that you guys did, actually.
Yeah, I thought, it was a cool topic, and it kind of just came to me because I was trying to figure out what can I do with somebody who hasn't been on the podcast before that's different. And for some odd reason, the idea of commercials came up, and it's like, oh, what a cool topic. And then it became a bigger topic than I thought it was going to be, because there's just, when you're talking about 40 plus years of video game history, there's a lot to cover when it comes to commercials.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you guys just went through the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
And in fact, we, on this episode, are going to go a little bit more late 80s and 90s when it comes to some of these commercials. So we're gonna get to that in a moment. I'm here actually as you can tell, the background is different.
Yes.
I'm at my
You're on location? Would this be like Studio C or Q?
I don't think my father wants this to be a studio. This is just a temporary location. No, actually, I don't know what this is. I don't know. It's a studio. Let's just call it alternate studio. Yes. And, well, first of all, I do want to, if I may, just a little personal here, I do want to give a shout-out to my father. Happy retirement, sir.
Oh, yeah, Butch. Congratulations, man. Holy cow. You did it. You did it.
We didn't think it was going to happen, but he did it. So.
I didn't think it was going to happen.
No one did. No, he was going to keep working. I'm going to have to work till the day I die, but he was able to finally retire. We had a nice dinner at Peter Luger's out here in New York.
Very nice.
Fantastic steakhouse, so...
And not only that, well-deserved.
Yes.
Beyond well-deserved.
Yeah. I've had to work with him sometimes in the blistering heat and the bittering cold, so it was all good stuff.
I did not, and I was okay with that.
So this is it. So that's why there's really nothing behind me except for a couple of closets, because I'm not actually doing any shows or anything, so I'm actually able to record this week with Anthony.
Yeah, and as you can see, I'm still in my Studio B. Because I still have to figure out how to get my laptop to do this split screen thing. Thankfully, on my desktop, somehow managed to get Skype to do the split screen again. Thank you, Larry, for pointing that out.
No problem.
On how to fix that. Now, if I can get my laptop to do it, I can actually move to my Studio A, which has been ready for over a month. So...
We'll get there. Eventually
yeah, I know.
I'm just not 4 episodes into.
I know. I'm not holding my breath, though. That's all.
Now, before we talk about the commercials and everything, me and Ant, we do want to mention real quick, as by the time this drops, it would have been this past weekend that Josh, Captain Nostalgia, from Victims and Villains, did his 48-hour Hope Station, suicide prevention, suicide awareness, donation fundraising, 48 hours of live streaming, and I think you may have caught more of it than I did. I was running around a little bit, but
yeah, I definitely did.
No.
In fact, not only did I catch a lot of it, I left it on when I fell asleep, so it looked like I was on. It pretty much looked like I was on for most of the 48 hours. So if anybody asks you, I didn't sleep for 2 days.
Awesome. But yeah, congratulations, Josh, and everyone over there at Victims and Villains. Had some really cool games we're on, and all the streamers were really fun, and myself and Anthony even got on there and streamed for 4 hours total of each.
Yes, that we did. Yeah. So, and I missed your first. Did I miss your first stream? I think I missed one of them.
Caught it at the tail end.
Yeah, I was at work.
Yeah, the first stream I did, the first hour, 2 hours each.
Yes.
The first hour I played because I knew I was having a guest over who was going to come in during that second hour. So the way my system is set, we talked about this once before, the way we broadcast, but doing this stream actually taught me a lot on how I can set up the streams and everything. So,
nice.
Which is good. I think that's going to help me in the long run for doing live streams.
I learned the hard way.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a moment.
Yes.
But I played the Super Famicom Classic. So I threw it because it was easy to. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to switch between games. Because I think if I turned the system off, like for cartridges, it would have killed the stream.
Correct.
So I started playing Super Metroid, which I never actually played before.
Isn't it great?
It's an awesome game.
Yes.
I played an hour of it, and I can't wait to go back and continue it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to continue it on my regular Super NES Classic because that's one that's actually hooked up to my television normally.
Yeah, but now you can stream it.
No, absolutely. I just want to play it, for crying out loud. And then with the second hour, Frank from the Better Half podcast came over because we were actually recording an episode of the Better Half.
Nice.
So he came on and we played a couple of 2-player games. They actually have on the Japanese Classic a version of, if you want to call it Tetris 2, if you want to call it Pokemon Puzzle League, however you want to call it. Yeah. I don't know what it's called in Japanese. That was on there.
Oops, sorry. I've been up. I've been up since 3:30.
Yeah, for 3 days straight.
Well, I've been up for 48 hours. I'm a little tired.
And then we played Super Mario Kart, which admittedly, yep, he kicked my booty in.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that. I was sitting. Yeah. I was sitting at work watching that. I had my screen split in half. I was doing work on one side, and I was watching him beat you on the other side.
You know, it's weird. It's like because I'm so used to playing Mario Kart 8 and everything. Like it's just because obviously the controls are so scaled back to the very first game. It's like you forget how to play almost.
Oh, and the controls on it, it's so hard to control the cars in the original one. It's the same. Yeah, it's the same issue I had when I tried playing FZero again. Now, FZero, I used to be amazing in. I was like, now I can't get to the finish line. I was like, it's so impossible to control those cars. Yeah, just we old.
Yeah, tell me about it.
That's just it.
So that was my first stream, and then my second stream I did. I played actually a ROM, a hack, if you will, that I got from Game On. Super Mario World: Return to Dinosaur Land.
Yeah, and that looked really fun.
You know, I've played a few different ROMs of Super Mario. I actually have a few different ROMs or hacks of Super Mario World. There's Brutal Mario World. There's another one that has like a level of all P-switches that is just mind-numbing.
Nice.
But this one, Return to Dinosaur Land, actually ran like a regular Mario game.
Oh, that's cool.
It was more heavy as far as finding alternate routes, like the key and the keyhole. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I can't wait to go back and play that more. Because that was shockingly fun. And I was able to get the 2 hours out of it.
Yeah, I know. You played straight through that sucker for 2 hours. I mean, you didn't finish it, obviously, but, you had a good 2 hour stream of that.
No, it was awesome. I really love it. I'm going to go back and check it out. So those were the games I played. Your foray went fun.
My first attempt at live streaming, and you know what was funny about all of it was that as anybody who watches our live streams on Facebook knows, like I tend not to use the camera or the mic when I play. I just play the game. I don't do commentary or anything like that because I just kind of want to play the game and I focus on the game, and I figured we can be a stream, we can be a podcast where we do that because so many other podcasts just talk over the game. I thought it would be interesting to just have the game played.
ASMR.
Right, ASMR. So this was the first time I was actually on camera and on mic, live when I was live streaming. So I made it a point the night before to get everything set up on my computer so that there would be...
Did?
Yeah. No, I set everything up the night before so that all I needed to do was sit down at my computer, start the game, and go, which is what I did when I started my feed. And I was playing the original Legend of Zelda on NES, and my goal was to finish the game in under 2 hours because the last time I played it, I think it took me like 2:20, and I was like, I knew I could shave 20 minutes off of it because I knew exactly, I got more comfortable with some of the levels, I knew where to go. But when I logged on to the stream, I was having major audio issues, and I was getting an echo. So it was either and I couldn't hear it because I was just Well, I heard a little bit of it in my ears, but I couldn't hear the music part of it. But everybody who was listening to the stream was like, "You have an echo. You have an echo." So for the first like 25 minutes, I was basically doing audio IT, trying to get it to work. And then what I eventually wound up doing was we got the mic to work, but no music. So for a good, I don't know, 45 minutes, I played the game with my mic and no music. And if you're playing the original Legend of Zelda without the music, it's just not the same.
Of course, yeah, it's weird.
So then I got to a point where I actually managed to fix it, and you had the music, and you had my mic going, everything was great. I was on level 6, so I was making my way through, and I still had a good 40 minutes or so to finish the game. I was like, perfect. I'll definitely get it done in under 2 hours. Get a knock at the door. Now, for people who don't know where I live in California. I was like, but I live in a guest house, and to get to where I live, you actually have to walk down the alleyway. So, because I'm not up by the street. I was like, there's a duplex in the front and they both have front doors. I was like, to find me, you actually have to look down the alley, see the house all the way in the back, and walk down the alley. So,
or the people who live in the duplex go, talk to that guy back there.
or it's that. So, like, a lot of times when I get deliveries, some of the delivery guys know that I exist and others don't. So, like, I'll have to walk to the front to get my deliveries because they drop it off at the front house. I get a knock on the door right while I'm streaming. And let me tell you, first knock I've gotten on my door in probably 6 months. That wasn't an invited guest, basically.
Yeah.
So I got to put, so it totally startled me. I'm not going to lie. It startled me because nobody knocks on my door. I was like,
I thought you were having someone come over, like, to be on the
not at all. So, so I try to put the controller down because I got thrown off. The controller slips off my desk, falls on the floor.
Yeah.
I answer the door, and it's a Jehovah's Witness with a pamphlet for the story of Jonah.
There you go.
And I'm like, I literally poked my head out, and I was like, I really can't talk right now. I'm in the middle of something, and I didn't want to sit there and explain to them. I go, I'm live streaming a video game because I didn't think that was going to work.
Then they come in and start selling everybody on it.
Exactly. So they hand me the pamphlet, and then I come back to sit down and play my game. And what happened? The game froze when the controller fell. I was like,
God.
Had to start over. Needless to say, my first stream did not go according to plan. I did not finish Legend of Zelda. However, I will say within the 40 minutes I had left, or 35 minutes I had left, I got about halfway through.
There you go.
Which was pretty good.
I was really expecting to see, like, the point of view from your camera, and then the room just spin as you throw it against the wall.
Oh, it was coming. It was definitely coming. I was like, because you know me, like, I like to have everything set up so there's no issue.
I trust me. I'm sitting there going, he is going nuts right now in his head.
Well, yeah, and it wouldn't have been a rage quit. It literally would have been like, you would have seen the destruction of my home.
The two cats just sitting there like...
Just the two cats watching me like, oh yeah, he's lost it. So...
What stinks is... I was going to say, what stinks is the issue that caused the echo was unfortunately the simplest thing.
Yeah, the issue that caused the echo after going through all of that stuff, because I fixed it for my Sunday morning feed, the issue was that the volume was up on the YouTube stream because I had the YouTube page up. So that was the extra sound that was coming out, and that's why I was echoing. All I needed to do was mute that. Well, you live, you learn, and you don't break things. That's the important thing I learned from this. Although I do blame the Jehovah's Witnesses for ruining my game. So Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't like you.
Hey, listen, better than Mormons.
That's very true. And they could have been, I don't know. But anyway,
Mormons coming out there in November, so.
Yeah, there is a more. I'll make sure to lock the door. Good luck finding me. So played Legend of Zelda on Saturday, and that was a bit of a mess. Now on Sunday morning, everything ran really smoothly because I had ironed everything out. I also set up my computer and did not touch it on Saturday night. I was like, I've got all my screens up, I've got YouTube muted, ready to go. The Sunday morning stream went without a hitch. I decided to do movie-based NES games. So I played through Back to the Future, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Jaws. And I beat all 3, which was great.
You know, I gotta say, and I didn't want to say because I was on the stream as well. Well, like I was in the chat room watching, and I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to jinx it. But your run through Back to the Future, I mean, was almost flawless.
Yeah, I did pretty well on that.
It was. I'm sitting here watching it. I'm in my head. I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I'm like, is there a cheat code he's using or something? Like he's flying through this. I've never seen anyone do that good.
Well, I mean, I've played that game so many times, and let's face it, it's not a good game. It's just one of those. It's a total guilty pleasure of mine. I don't know why I like it so much. I think I'm just obsessed with Back to the Future. I'm also in the middle of playing the Wii game because I downloaded it on Games with Gold. It's the Telltale Back to the Future game, which is actually really good. But it's just one of those games. I played it ad nauseum when I was a kid. I just love going back to it, even though, again, it's not a very good game. I was like, but I plowed right through that sucker, which was great.
No, you did. I was quite impressed, honestly. And then I had to step away, so I really didn't see your Nightmare on Elm Street, but I know you're good at that as well.
Well, there was a point where I'm not gonna lie, I was using a save state because there's one jump in there where if you don't time it perfectly, you die, and I'm not kidding you. I must have died like 40 times before I got it. Like I was just falling. There was a few. I noticed that, and you weren't the only one. A few streamers were taking advantage of those save states. Well, I thought because it was for because it was a live stream, it was for a charity, a good cause, and everything like that. I thought, I felt it was important to finish the game if I could. Yeah, so.
I don't blame it.
Plus, you know what? I haven't seen that Nightmare on Elm Street ending for a very long time.
And I gotta say as well, I mentioned it in the chat, I don't know, about a month ago at Game On, for the first time ever, I actually played 4-player Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if you ever did.
Yeah, I did when I was a kid. I used to have the multi-tap.
It is a cluster.
It's impossible
to try and figure out who's doing what, or to figure out who your character is.
Yes, exactly, because you're all different. You're all different colors. Yeah. But overall, I mean, I thought the streaming went really well. Some of the games that I caught that I thought were awesome. Celeste with I'm trying to remember the name. Geek Dimensions.
Super Panda or something.
Super Panda Adventure. That was really fun. It was totally trippy. The panda was nice and sarcastic, the way I like my pandas. That was really fun. Croft Manor. Also, I caught some Tomb Raider Last Revelation. It makes me want to go back and play my Tomb Raider games and finish them. One Coin Only, who went through Adventure Island 2 earlier Sunday morning before my stream. That game was a bear. He needed extra time to finish it, but he did.
I saw that,
which was awesome. Yes, but all in all, I mean, and then Josh, of course, Josh was all over the place. He played Pokemon Red. He played Toy Story.
Yep.
Just lots of good gaming.
His Pokemon, I think he was on a few times. It is his stream. But I remember I was watching his Pokemon Red. He played his 2 hours. He got a bunch of Pokemon, and then he accidentally loaded
instead of saving
it, and he lost the whole thing. I felt so bad for him.
Oh, Josh, I feel your pain, man.
And then he was gonna play Myst, but he said on the stream he was having problems, I think, loading it in or something like that.
Well, and that was my thing too. I was actually gonna play Seventh Guest for my second stream instead of the movie games. But two things came up. One, it was going to be too small on the screen because it was like Letterbox, and we had so many other things on the screen, so it would have been small. And then the second thing, the intro to that game that you have to sit through, because it was one of the first full motion video games ever made. They took full advantage of it. So the intro to that game is like 8 or 10 minutes.
Wow.
So I didn't want people basically watching 8 to 10 minutes of video before I started walking around a creepy mansion. So. But I still think everything else went really well. Josh, I know, is really happy with the way that everything went. Raised some money for, suicide awareness and education, which is good. Definitely need to do more of those in the future.
Absolutely. And just because the stream is over doesn't mean you can't donate. I've been saying it the whole time. No donation is too small. No donation is too big. Go to paypal.me/victim.
Victims and villains.
Victims and villains. PayPal.me/victims and villains. And go and donate. Definitely worthwhile cause. So check it out. And all good stuff. So
yes, it was very, very good.
Fantastic.
So and then a couple of other things I think we should point out. Last week, we had our NES Classic giveaway live on Facebook. So
that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. We got some decent viewers. More importantly, we got a very, very happy winner, Miss Kristen LaDuff, who lives out here in Los Angeles. So I have her NES Classic sitting right here that I have to deliver to her.
Yes, and that's it from. If anyone's curious, no, that's not one of those bootleg ones. It's a European version.
No, this is actually a European version. It came all the way from across the pond. Yeah, and it's got the same games on it and everything. So she is the rightful winner of this, and I will either rightfully deliver it to her or I'll make her come to me. So one or the other. Next, yeah. But
either way, saving on shipping. So I like the sound of that.
I love saving on shipping. So then there's
She seemed very happy.
Yeah. Oh no, she was absolutely thrilled. So, and I'm very happy for her as well. So it's nice to know when something is going to a good home, and not going to somebody who's going to put it on eBay, like a certain brother-in-law I have. That's right.
Oh, I don't think he entered.
No,
he wasn't allowed to anyway.
No, he wasn't allowed to. I told him. My sister already got one. I bought her one, so I bought her in the kids.
Oh, another NES?
Oh yeah, I bought one for them when this group came out.
Okay.
I pre-ordered and sent them one, so they're already covered. No reason to get another one except to sell it, which is why he couldn't join. Couldn't join the contest. Sorry.
Hey, listen. I'll whisper so no one can hear us talk about it.
Yes.
You got to get a Retro Gamer sticker and throw it and stick it on top of the NES Classic.
Oh, okay. I'll do that. We don't have stickers. We need stickers.
Yeah, I know. That's why you got to make one up before she shows up and picks it up.
All right, sounds good. We'll make. We'll definitely. We should make some stickers. We should make those little magnets you can put on your ar. See.
Write that one down.
There you go. Magnets, lenticulars. We can do all kinds of stuff. But anyway. So we got that. Yeah. So the NES Classic giveaway I thought was a huge success for us.
Yep.
And I think the first of many moving forward. I think we're going to start doing contests moving forward. Maybe smaller ones. Not as big as an NES Classic, at least to start. And then we'll see how that goes, which is cool. One other thing I wanted to... I think I showed you this, or I talked about it, but Funko is doing cereal now.
Yes.
So, and they're putting out a whole bunch of really cool ones. They've got like a Jason Voorhees one, a Freddy Krueger one, which I can't find anywhere except eBay, and they've already marked it up ridiculously. They have a Gollum one. They have
I saw that one.
They have a Cuphead one, and then for Cuphead, which is a more current video game, but for some of us retro gamers, I managed to get my hands on the Mega Man one.
Oh, cool!
So check that out.
Very cool.
Yeah,
multi-grain cereal.
Multi-grain cereal. Yeah, and there's a mini pop figure of Mega Man inside.
That is very cool.
So
okay.
Yeah, so really, yes, this one. The Funko cereals are exclusive to different stores, so only GameStop got the Mega Man one.
Okay.
And then figure this one out. I think the Freddy and Jason ones were FYE. So good luck finding it.
Yeah. Right.
But apparently it's sold out everywhere. But yeah, so definitely Mega Man. Mega Man's awesome. Oh, and by the way, Larry, I got you a box.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll send it in the mail along with your watch, which I still have.
Oh yeah, I want my watch.
With your watch, so I'll send those over to you.
Thanks.
So yeah, that was really cool.
I
would assume it is. From my understanding, I have a friend who ate some of these, and he said it's not very good.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. There goes our sponsorship.
I was just gonna say I'll leave it to you to decide. I haven't tried it yet. Obviously, it's still well, see, that's the other thing too. It's like when you buy something like food items, right? And you want to keep it for collector's purposes. Do you open it and eat the cereal and just keep the box, or do you keep it sealed completely, even with the bad cereal?
I'm trying to think, because right now I still have 2 boxes of the Super Mario cereal at home.
So do
which
I.
Doesn't expire, I don't think, till November. Maybe October. So I have 1 more month to eat them. But I just don't, because I have it up on top, so I never really look at it. I mean, I never take it down to look at it. I had bought when the Simpsons movie came out, way back when. They put it out Krusty-O cereal.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
I bought a box. I just don't remember if I took the actual cereal out or not, and then just kept the box. So I gotta go back and double check that.
Okay.
I would keep it sealed. I mean, it's cereal. What's all it's going to do is get stale.
Well, and that's what I thought too, because like, and not only that, when they shipped it, because I ordered it online and they shipped it, like the box is all like,
oh, of course,
it's a little warped because it's a cereal box. It's cardboard. It's not going to come in perfect. Yeah, because that's my thought too. Otherwise, I mean, I'm good to eat this until May 24th of 2019.
Wow.
That's pretty serious.
What?
What's in
what
there?
exactly is in it that they can keep it that long?
I don't know. I'm afraid to find out. So we're not going to eat this. It's probably one of those food items. If you tried giving it to a dog, they wouldn't eat it.
Oh man, that's just terrible.
It's kind of like giving them soda. They're like, no, are you crazy?
Never heard of anyone giving an animal soda.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's the. Like, they use that as an argument against soda because soda is so bad. Like, a dog will drink out of the toilet but will not drink soda. It's true.
It's the bubbles.
Also, if you throw a dirty penny in a soda, it cleans it.
In Coke, yes.
In Coke. So that just tells you a little something about soda. But that's not about video games, so we won't care. Although, there was a Coca-Cola video game, wasn't there? Way back when?
There was a 7-Up.
There was a 7-Up. There were two 7-Up games.
Yes.
There was 7-Up that played like I think Othello. There was a 7-Up game that played like Othello. Yep.
Oh.
On the NES, and then there was Spot Goes to Hollywood because he got all full of himself.
Yep, that's the one I remember.
And then we got I could have sworn there was like a Coca-Cola Kid video game. There might have been.
I don't remember. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I do remember the Kool-Aid Man having a game. I also remember Yo Noid for Domino's.
Yes, that's
right. That was Domino's, right? Domino's Pizza. The Noid.
Yep, the Noid. Avoid the Noid.
And then, of course, my all-time favorite, which is on the Xbox 360, Sneak King for Burger King. The one where you are the creepy king that has to sneak up on people.
I smell a future episode.
Games based on a product, yes. I think we can work on that.
We play the game and we eat the food that's related to the game.
Oh, man. You're going to make me eat fast food?
All right, maybe I'll take care of that part.
You do the eating, I'll do the playing.
I'll eat, you play. I know Josh right now is going to call us out on this and tell us it has to be that.
All right. Well, you know what? Labor Day is next week. Actually, you know what? Here. Labor Day is next weekend, right? We have to record for Labor Day weekend. I'm playing in a hockey tournament, so I have to play 4 or 5 hockey games in 3 days.
Oh, my God.
I will eat fast food next weekend.
What?
I'm going to have to.
You'll end up like supersize me. You'll go into a coma the first day.
I know. I'm going to eat McDonald's and then show up on the ice and they'll be like... And if I do that, I'll just do it all over the goalie.
Well, look what happened to Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks.
Rest in peace.
He didn't die.
No, I know.
His career's dead.
I thought his career was dead before that.
Honestly, but did you see that mugshot from a couple weeks ago?
I did, and it's right on the heels of them announcing a Mighty Ducks TV series.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway, one other bit of news I wanted to share with everybody before, because it seems to be this is our news segment of the episode, or the recap and news segment. Arcade 1-Up. We talked about this on a couple of weeks ago.
This thing is amazing.
They are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. I mean, we're getting I think 5 or 6 cabinets at the end of September. It's 5. 5 cabinets at the end of September. Each cabinet has 4 games in it. Oh, and by the way, if you did not look at it closely enough, the Gauntlet cabinet with Rampage and Gauntlet, it's got 3 players on it. It's a 3-player.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, yep.
It's a 3-player cabinet. Yep, some of them are multiplayer, but there's been speculation that they were making more cabinets, and it's come out because in Europe they have different cabinets with different games. Like they have a cabinet with 12 games in it.
I saw that, yeah.
And I want that one. But
that one's awesome.
More importantly, coming out to my understanding on October 13th or 14th, there's going to be a Pac-Man one. Pac-Man Arcade. And I believe it's going to include, I think right now, from what I saw, it was Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus.
Oh.
So,
okay.
I know, which is kind of weird. But...
That's okay. All right. Pac-Man Plus I haven't played that in a long time.
Yeah, so But I could be wrong about that part. I mean, personally, I would love to see Ms. Pac-Man. Right, Pac-Man and Ms. Pac-Man would be perfect. Hey. But just getting a Pac-Man machine, I'm all in. Doesn't matter.
Oh, totally.
There's also a Mortal Kombat machine coming, so I will be passing up on the Street Fighter one because I like Mortal Kombat better, and it's supposed to include Mortal Kombat 2, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Oh, I thought it was 2, 3, and 4.
I think 4 is in there too.
Okay.
Yeah, but Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 had more characters, so I think that's why they're putting that one in.
All right, cool.
So also, like, those are the two now. Like, now I want the Rampage Gauntlet one. I want the Pac-Man one. I want the friggin' Mortal Kombat one. And these are like, and to be honest with you, for $300 a pop, you're getting a full arcade cabinet. You know, so definitely worth it.
Absolutely worth it.
Definitely worth it.
I bought that, the stand. Like, I saw a video. I think they put it out. Arcade 1-Up put it out because everyone, you know, the dimensions are there, but to read the dimensions versus seeing the dimensions.
Yes.
And I think Arcade 1-Up on YouTube, but like, all right, like, here I am. Here's the machine. You know what I mean? And they had it on the stand. Yes. And even with the stand, because it's like smaller, thinner, but even on the stand, it still looks authentic.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, and if you don't want the stand, obviously you can play the seated version. Like, because without the stand, you can basically just put a chair or a stool up to it and sit down and play, so you don't have to stand up the whole time.
Yep.
So, and I think that's probably where I'm going to start. I don't know how much the stand costs. They haven't really announced the price for the stand.
Yeah, there's no price on those, but I can't imagine it'd be too expensive.
I can't imagine that either, but that's why, like, I think in the beginning I'm just going to start with the actual lower versions. When I actually put money together.
Yeah, right.
That's the other thing. I mean, because these are $300 a pop, it's going to get expensive really quickly. And I don't know if these are going to be part of our contest, because these are technically retro games.
Oh, I can't even think about that right now.
Yeah, we won't think about that. But anyway, so those are the little bits of news that I unearthed.
Cool.
I don't know if you've got any.
No. Like I said, with running around last week, I'm back here in Brooklyn again this week and stuff like that. So I didn't get a chance to look into too much stuff. The only thing I saw about retro, kind of, is with the Polymega. I don't remember what it used to be called, but this is going to be the first clone system, CD-based clone system. Yes. And it'll have modular systems with it that you can purchase later on, like a separate NES, SNES, TurboGrafx. But the base unit is CD. One CD drive will play multiple CD-based games. As of right now, the internet will correct me if I'm wrong, PlayStation 1, TurboGrafx CD, Sega CD, Neo Geo CD. I think it's just those 4 for now. There may be one other.
Not PlayStation?
But not... No, PS1, yeah.
Oh, you said PS1, I'm sorry.
But what the thing is, though, they said when they announce, I think later on, either this month or in September, they're going to announce the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter will launch, but they're also going to announce a new system, CD-based system, that will be able to be played out of the box.
Oh.
Now, granted, they also said they can update the CD systems in the future to accept more, because they got to go through copyrights.
Right,
and,
of course.
You know, the idea about all this is basically, I guess some of it is just the copyright expires, or they're doing it legitimately.
Right. Legitimately?
Yeah. That one was for Frank. Yeah. So, they haven't announced what the new system is. I'm hoping either it's going to be Dreamcast games or Saturn games.
That would be awesome.
Saturn. So I want to get my hands on Shining Force 3.
It will not be Virtual Boy games. Polymega's not going to waste time on that.
Oh.
Just like everybody else isn't going to waste time on that.
So be on the lookout for that. We'll post it when it goes up and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to that one.
We're also about a month away from Nintendo's new online system for Switch.
Which basically, the more I look at it, the more, as far as retro games are concerned, it's basically going to have the NES Classic on there.
Pretty much. I mean, but it's really cool. I mean, because it's only $20 a year, and they're going to switch the games out, so the games will always be changing, which is cool.
But even better, 2-player online. So we can actually play Super Mario Brothers 2-player online.
And we can stream now
Absolutely.
I like the sound of this.
Yep, totally.
If only we didn't have a 3-hour time difference.
Yeah, honestly. Well, who decided to move?
Well, that's your fault.
What?
All right, Larry, it is time for this week's retro birthdays, and we have 4 very special birthdays that we want to give a shout out to this week.
Wow,
yes.
What turned into what was that guy's name?
I don't know.
I don't remember now. Not Al Roker.
Well, I was just gonna say that doesn't narrow it down at all.
The other famous weatherman, he was Mr. Poole on the Hogan Family.
I only know Al Roker. I don't know anybody else.
Okay, forget it.
I don't know. Sam Shepard. Oprah Winfrey. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
Willard Scott.
Willard Scott.
That's who
Thank
it was.
you.
Willard Scott. Mr. Poole.
Thank you. Wilfred Brimley.
Yeah, diabetes. What do we got? Whose birthday is today?
All right, so we have 4 birthdays, like I said, that we wanna celebrate here, and one is a personal one for me because I really loved playing this game specifically on the Sega Dreamcast. Loved it. Okay. And then it came out later on PlayStation 2, Xbox, and all that stuff. And it is celebrating its 15th birthday. So it came out in 2003. So on console. So a very happy 15th birthday to Soul Calibur 2.
Wow.
That is 15 years old. Now, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the one where every console got a different special character?
3 consoles, yeah.
Yes.
It was the Dreamcast. No, wait.
No.
The original was on Dreamcast.
Yes.
But Soul Calibur 2 was on Xbox, PlayStation 2,
and GameCube. GameCube got Link. I remember that.
Yes, that was the best. That's the one I had.
Yes.
I want to say PlayStation 2 had someone from Tekken. Hayabusa?
I don't know. I could have sworn one of them had like Freddy Krueger or Jason or something.
No, Spawn.
Oh, Spawn. It was Spawn.
I think Spawn was Xbox.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was really cool.
Oh, absolutely. Wow, 15 years old.
Yeah,
wow.
15. You happy 15? It also gave you a reason to buy all 3 because you got that extra character. And some people, I'm sure. No, I did not. I think I only got the GameCube one, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, I don't have it anymore. I don't know where it went.
Oh.
I know, sad. So happy 15th birthday, Soul Calibur 2. I'm going backwards in time. We're going to wish a happy 21st birthday to one of my favorite games of all time, and arguably the best RPG game of all time. So a happy 21st birthday to Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, yes. You can drink.
Yes, you can drink. And, I think it's January, I want to say January like 29th or something like that of 2019. The remastered version is coming out on the PlayStation 4.
Well, figures, 21 years old, about time to get a facelift, maybe do a little plastic surgery, a little tummy tuck.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to that because I'm definitely going to play through that again when it comes out.
Oh, I'm waiting for that. I'm actually holding off on getting Final Fantasy VII. That's a lie, I have it. I'm holding off on playing Final Fantasy VII on PS1 to get the remaster.
Yeah, just hang out for the PS4. It's not that far away. So that's a happy 21st birthday. Now we have a happy 26th birthday.
Okay.
So happy 26th birthday to actually one of the games that you streamed and got your butt kicked in with Frank. Happy 26th birthday to Super Mario Kart for the Super Nintendo.
Good.
26 years of go-karting.
See, you can't blame me. I haven't played that game in 26 years.
Exactly. And you know what? They were the trendsetter. You know, there were no go-kart games before that one.
It was, and I remember when the game came out, I'm like,
Right.
Like, I wasn't really all in on it.
Yep. No, neither was I, because I'm like, well, how good could this possibly be? And then we were introduced to the beauty that was battle mode, and the rest is history.
Yes, that's pretty much what sold it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And last but not least, we're going to wish a happy 31st birthday.
Oh.
And this is its 31st Japanese birthday, not its American birthday, but its 31st Japanese birthday. To a game near and dear to your heart, and I know near and dear to mine, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest. Happy 31st birthday. Came out 31 years ago on the Famicom Disk System.
Yes,
that's where it was originally released. So was the original Castlevania, also on the Famicom Disk System.
Unlike fine wine, this game really didn't age well, in my opinion.
This game aged beautifully. I still love playing it. You're the only person in the world. No, you're not the only person. This game has a bad rap because same way that Adventures of Link does, Zelda 2: Adventures of Link, because it was they kind of changed the format up a little bit. I actually enjoyed the more RPG-esque elements to it as opposed to just a straight up level, just going through levels that the other Castlevanias do. But you know what? I still think they're all great games. This one's now 31. Happy birthday to that, and to all 4 of these guys. Enjoy your birthdays. You've earned your places in the history of video games, and that is this week's retro birthday.
All right, so after listening to last week's episode, I got the itch. I'm like, man, that's a cool topic. Luckily, there's a lot more to talk about when it comes to these video game commercials.
That there is. I left like a whole decade and a half for you.
Absolutely, I'm looking at it right here.
I know, and I don't even think we're going to get to all of it either. So
no, not at all. We're going to hit the big ones, and kind of like last week. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to play the ad, talk about it, maybe dissect it a little bit.
Yes,
and just kind of keep moving forward at that point.
And for those of you who did not watch or listen to last week's episode, when Frank was guest hosting with me, we decided to look at retro video game commercials from the 1970s and the 1980s. We went through the Magnavox Odyssey, from the Magnavox Odyssey all the way to the NES in the 80s. And we talked about all the different strategies that these companies use to try and get you to buy their systems, because for a while there was like a big glut of systems, like in the late 70s, early 80s, before the crash, and then came Nintendo, which ushered in a whole new era of video gaming. And that's where we left it off, because there was just too much to look at and to talk about. So plus I knew, Larry, this was a topic that you were going to enjoy as well, and I definitely wanted to get you in on this.
Absolutely, especially watching it on YouTube. I'm like, oh, they're the commercials.
Yeah, exactly. So this was one where being on YouTube now is definitely a benefit, because you can see them. However, if you're just listening to the podcast, just listening to the commercials, I think gives you enough information for it as well, which is cool. Absolutely. So we're going to cover now just the 1990s, because the 1990s, if you didn't realize it, had a ton of consoles, had way more consoles than you realize, and I think 50% of them were from Sega. So and just for clarity, because I know Frank's listening or watching, it's Sega, not Sega.
Sega.
I'm in your corner, Frank. Sega. Thank you. Sega. Thank you. Sega. We're actually going to start in 1989, because we ended with the NES, which basically ruled the late 80s. And then 1989 is when we started to see 16-bit graphic systems come into play. And that rolled right into the 90s. So, and the first one that we're going to look at is the TurboGrafx 16, because the TurboGrafx 16, also known as the PC Engine, actually came out. The PC Engine came out in 1987 in Japan.
Oh, I didn't know it was that far back.
It came out in 1987 in Japan. It did not make it over to North America until 1989. But it still came out before the Sega Genesis did. So we're going to look at that one first, because it beat all other 16-bit systems into the market. So let's take a look at the TurboGrafx 16 commercial, or listen to it if you're listening to our podcast.
Introducing TurboGrafx 16, the next generation video game system. It's 4 times faster, so the games are more exciting. There are almost 10 times as many colors, so the arcade quality graphics are even more intense. And you can expand your system with a CD player for CD games with sound effects that are turbocharged. TurboGrafx 16 from NEC, the higher energy video game system.
All right. Well, TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to talk about the last scene in the commercial, where this thing's available.
Oh, I have that paused too, because I wanted to talk about that.
Me too.
Ready?
Okay, Radio Shack, Toys R Us, Woodward's. Is there Woodward's out by us?
I don't think so. I don't. CompuCenter, I remember.
Simpsons. Is it Simpsons CompuCenter or just CompuCenter?
No, I think it's just CompuCenter. Simpsons was a different department store.
I don't remember Simpsons.
Well, I don't think it was anywhere near us.
And my personal favorite, buy right drugs.
Buy right drugs. But when they say buy right drugs, it's spelled BI-RITE. It's not BUY, it's BI. So
well,
buy right drugs.
Late 80s,
sure.
And of course the tagline, the higher energy video game system.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing I noticed with all these commercials. Are like they all spit out that tagline, whatever it is. Yeah, this one's the higher energy. But listening to this commercial or watching this commercial, you see like their main selling point in this are 10 times more colors than your 8-bit systems, arcade quality graphics, and the TurboGrafx 16 actually already had a CD add-on available right at the onset. So
yeah, I forgot it was right. It was there right then and there.
Exactly. So you could either buy just the cartridge-based system, or you can get the CD add-on on top of it. So they were way ahead of every other company, because the Sega CD was about 3 years out from release.
I think so.
Yeah, I believe that was 92, if not even 93. So the fact that TurboGrafx got on the market first in '89, it's interesting to see that they didn't grab a larger bite of the market before Sega Genesis came out.
Yeah, I think it was just timing. I think that's what happened.
Yeah,
just pure timing.
Yeah,
is the only thing I can think of. Because
I agree.
Has a great library.
They have a really good library of games. I don't think they had the advertising power that Sega put behind the Genesis, and I think that's ultimately what happened, because the Genesis came out shortly after the TurboGrafx here in the U.S.
Absolutely agreed. Also, the other thing I want to point out, which is a lot of, again, the late 80s, and we're going to see it with the early 90s commercials, it's all in your face. They're zooming in on the camera, everyone's flipping out over the games, and, just zoomed into the logo.
Yeah, and this one was just really very straightforward. It was like they're showing you the games, they're telling you what's different about their system and what's better about their system, and then just saying, buy it. Very straighthtforward.
They focused on themselves. Like, they didn't try to say, here's what we do. But 10 times the colors, this, that, and the other thing, but they're not actually calling anybody else out.
Exactly.
Which
is what you're about to see.
Exactly.
When Sega released their Genesis, because one of their main selling points was that they were better than Nintendo, and they weren't afraid to attack Nintendo in their commercials. So let's switch over and look at what before we go. Okay.
Well, no. I'll ask the question because I don't know how much history you may know just from being in the business, but I'll ask you a question after we watch the Genesis commercial. Nothing major if you don't know it. No big deal. But let's watch a Genesis commercial with a very famous tagline that we all know and love, and then we'll follow up there.
All right.
Genesis does
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
Get Joe Montana free, Pat Riley free, Buster Douglas free, Super Monaco GP free, or Columns free. What Nintendo?
All right, there it is.
Genesis does.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah. By the way,
I want this single.
You want the single? Yeah, I had a feeling since you're so prone to bursting into song on your podcast that that this is something you would definitely want.
Oh, it's
but first off, it's not grammatically correct. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Just so you know, Nintendo don't is not a word, but everybody knows that. But again, it's one of those things where it's like Sega, very ballsy, just very ballsy. They were like, we're gonna go after the number one competitor that we have, and we're gonna point out exactly how much better we are. And remember, the Sega Genesis came out 2 whole years before the Super Nintendo did. So you're talking a 16-bit system on the market going up against an 8-bit NES. So it was actually very accurate. Yes, Genesis did do what Nintendo didn't at that time. Because the Super Nintendo was still in gestation.
I mean, and eventually when the Super Nintendo came out, they hit him on that as well, like blast processing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which, by the way, blast processing, when you read the book Console Wars, Tom Kalinske, who was the president of Sega at the time when the Genesis blew up, he said blast processing, it was just a name. There was nothing behind it.
Oh, yeah.
They just call it, they thought it sounded cool, and they thought it would sound cool to consumers. Yeah. Do you remember it? Blast processing.
not for nothing, the way how fast like Sonic ran.
Yep. Literally
in the game, he'd sometimes go so fast he'd blow off the screen.
That was the power of blast processing.
Yeah, so you thought of that. I like the choice of free video games here.
Yep.
So,
well, and if you notice, the other thing they highlighted specifically in this commercial is they highlighted games with celebrities. They were all It was Pat Riley basketball, not just a basketball game. It was Buster Douglas boxing. It wasn't just a boxing game. Yep. Joe Montana football. Like, they paid a ton of money to all of these sports stars to get their names because they're like, this will sell. This will sell the system. And you know what? And it worked. And I could have sworn I may have seen, was it Wayne Gretzky in there or somebody else? There was somebody else in there.
Michael Jackson's Moonwalk.
Well, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker also was a big deal.
It showed, yeah.
Yeah.
So the question I wanted to ask you was, because I don't remember when it kicked in. Remember, there was a time, almost like the old Pepsi commercials, like Pepsi versus Brand X. Mm-hmm. And Brand X was Coke. It's like, you know, I guess was this the time where they can actually, or by saying Nintendo, was their way of mentioning Nintendo without legally saying Nintendo? Because back then, I don't think you were allowed to mention the competition in a commercial.
I don't necessarily know because I think you were allowed to if it wasn't like defamation in a way. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So they weren't lying necessarily about it at the time these commercials came out. And you'll actually see in a commercial for one of the other systems on the list, provided we get to it, and we should, you'll see one of them call out Sega and Nintendo visually.
Oh, really?
Yes, visually. And we'll get to that eventually.
Because I remember in the news, it was like, you know, advertisers are now allowed to mention, you know, competitions' names and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I honestly don't know the answer, but I thought what it was, you know, I actually thought the answer was that you could do that, unless you were lying. Like if you were lying, they could have sued you. And to be honest, like they really weren't lying. If you look at the meat of the commercial, you know, it was accurate. You know, all the games they showed were not on Nintendo. The 16-bit console, you know, didn't exist yet for Nintendo, so it was accurate.
Okay.
Now, moving on past the Genesis, because we can just do a whole Genesis, Super Nintendo back and forth for this entire thing, but I want us to get to other consoles. I tried my hardest to find a commercial for the next console, which came out 2 years later, after the Sega Genesis, and that was the Neo Geo.
Yeah.
Could not find an American commercial. All the commercials were in Japanese, so I didn't think they would be helpful to look at.
I guess I don't ever remember a Neo Geo commercial growing up.
And it's entirely possible that maybe there wasn't. They just didn't put any advertising dollars in the States.
Yep.
So we're going to skip over the Neo Geo, just like history has basically skipped over the Neo Geo.
Ouch.
I know. And we're going to move on to the major console that came out in 1991, which was, of course, Nintendo's response to the Sega Genesis was the Super Nintendo. So we're going to take a look at a commercial, and you're going to listen to a commercial, and we'll point out a very familiar face in this Super Nintendo commercial. So let's take a look at this one.
When you decide to step up to this kind of power, this kind of challenge, this kind of flying, crashing, feeling, when you decide to get serious, there's only one place to come, the games of Super Nintendo. No one else creates this kind of experience, because no one else creates these kinds of games. Now you're playing with power, superpower.
So,
all right. Foreshadowing. I'm going to say this is foreshadowing.
Is this foreshadowing?
Because it very much looks like Ant-Man playing on a television.
That's right. Before Ant-Man was Ant-Man, Ant-Man was playing the Super Nintendo.
Ant-Man was Paul Rudd.
Yes.
And,
a very young Paul Rudd. Now, last week we showed a Pitfall Atari commercial that starred a very young Jack Black.
Yeah, that's nuts.
He was a
never
kid.
Knew that
he was a kid. But yeah, this one's an older Paul Rudd. We're looking at maybe a late teenage Paul Rudd, complete with the that longish kind of hair with the fro. But anyway,
90s, early 90s. Yep.
But looking past Paul Rudd, because back then he was just a kid in a commercial. What I like about the Super Nintendo commercial, similar to what the Sega Genesis does, is that they're focusing on the main games that sell the system. And what's interesting about this one is that they didn't even rely on their Mario game for this. This commercial was past Super Mario World. Like, Super Mario World came out when the console came out. But this one was about A Link to the Past, FZero, Pilot Wings was in there. I don't remember which football game was in there, but they showed a football game.
I forgot which one it was. I think it was a general football one.
Yeah, but still, like, they really focused on the power of each game.
Super play action football.
Super play action football. So really, like, again, it was similar to what Genesis did, minus the celebrities, of course. And then, of course, the infamous tagline. They didn't even, and again, they don't mention Sega or anybody else. Nintendo's never done that. It's always just about them. And they took an old tagline from their original console and they just upgraded it.
Yeah, all with one word. Now you're playing with power, super power. It was. I remember this commercial because I remember going, I want to play a video game on a movie screen.
Yes.
Because Paul Rudd walks into an abandoned, closed down drive-in theater, and I'm like, how do I hook up a Super Nintendo to a movie theater screen?
Right. Well, you're pretty close to that right now in your home.
This is very true,
right? With the big screen TVs, but no, I agree with you. I'm like, this was probably the most memorable commercial I remember.
Yes.
From when I was a kid.
This is another one. I think we're gonna probably the other Super Nintendo one that I don't know if we're gonna play next.
Link to the Past one.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's take a look at that one and we'll talk about it.
This time, it calls you to the ultimate battle of good against evil. To a quest few are prepared for, and fewer still survive. But perhaps now the power is within your grasp. It's the game that's already a legend. The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, only on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with superpower.
All right, this absolutely was not the commercial I was thinking of.
Okay, I was gonna say because I'm like that was a really poor man's Link.
I do not remember this commercial at all, and that is a dollar budget Link.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
I feel like he's the guy they used in the Iron Sword Wizard and Warriors commercial years prior. They just put different clothes. They just put different clothes on him and threw him out there.
It's Fabio.
Is that what it was?
Well, Fabio was in Wizards and Warriors. He was Fabio was on the cover of Wizards and Warriors.
Yeah, I don't know if he was in the actual Iron Sword commercial now.
No, I don't think so. I feel like Atreyu should be flying through here at any moment.
Yeah, right. See, this was a commercial done in like the early '90s that belonged in the like mid '80s.
Oh, poor Falcor. Like I said, I was thinking more. I guess it was the NES Zelda commercial. The guy like in the rubber room.
Oh yeah, we played that on last week's episode.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's right.
Yeah, and the guy who was in that commercial, John Cassier, was actually the voice of the Crypt Keeper in Tales from the Crypt. We found out.
Yes. Okay, that's right.
That was for the original Zelda. This is Link to the Past, which, by the way, you know what? If I had to choose one of the two, I'll take the creepy guy in the rubber room over this commercial.
Oh, it's a better commercial. Absolutely.
No question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I think at this point, I mean, I don't think Nintendo. It didn't matter. They were going to sell the game no matter what.
They could have just put a still picture for 30 seconds with no volume, and it would have sold. So
okay, so now we're talking about 90s. We're still only in 1991. We haven't really gotten anywhere in the 90s, and there are so many other systems that came out. And again, like I said, you're going to see a lot from Sega. 1991, the much reviled, absolutely terrible Philips CDI, which was released after they decided to make their own system when they broke off their deal with Nintendo, because they were actually working with Nintendo to make a system, but then they decided to put out their own, which is why Philips CDI is the only third-party console to have Nintendo Nintendo characters on it, like Mario and Link.
Okay.
They've never shared their characters out to any.
No, that's true.
Any other company.
There's a reason why, as we all know.
Yes, and we're going to take a look at a Philips CDI commercial again with a very familiar face in it, Larry.
Oh,
so and you're going to notice him right away. So and we'll talk about that after we watch it. So let's take a look.
Here we go.
Say you're watching TV and this guy says...
It's CDI, friends, the next generation CD player that works with your TV.
And you'd say...
But I have a CD player.
Then your mom says...
No, dear. CDI works with your television.
You'd probably feel pretty dumb and maybe even fake it like you'd already experienced the ultimate in games, movies, music, and more.
Trust me, babe, I know about this CDI stuff.
Now get into CDI, starting at $2.99 with $200 of free software.
Okay, so once again, we have a celebrity sighting.
Oh, we do. It's the only celebrity in the commercial.
A future celebrity sighting. Yeah, it's a celebrity who shows up like in 6 different roles in the commercial.
Yeah, it's Phil Hartman. Holy cow.
The one and only Phil Hartman trying to sell you a CDI.
Doing his best. That's where all the money went into, hiring Phil Hartman.
Yeah, basically. Well, this was before Phil Hartman really hit it big. So
really?
I think so. I think this was maybe like right on the cusp.
Okay.
Maybe if he wasn't on Saturday Night Live yet, he had just gotten on Saturday Night Live.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so again, reaching in, trying to find somebody to sell the system the way that they wanted to, showcasing the games. Unfortunately, like when they were showcasing the games, they showcased them so quickly.
They went through quick.
They went through them so fast, and because they were also trying to sell it as a complete multimedia system, basically what our Xbox 360 and our PS3s eventually became, because it was the Philips CDI wasn't just video games, it was movies, it was music. They wanted it to be a full multimedia system.
Absolutely, which I didn't realize. Yeah. I didn't know it played movies.
Yeah.
No, that's a new one to me.
Well, especially because you don't think, because the CDI was a CD, and back then you wouldn't think that CDs were doing movies because DVDs didn't come out for a while.
Exactly, which is why, and that's I forgot about like the CD. I forgot what they called them.
I forgot to.
Yeah, there was like a CD, like a VCD.
VCDs, that's correct.
I remember, not remember, but in this, it was going through, and then it showed a clip from The Fugitive. I think it was The Fugitive.
Was that The Fugitive or Air Force One? I thought it was Air Force One.
It's one of them.
It's one of those two.
Like, yeah. Anyway, I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's a movie. Like,
yep.
Not really. I'm listening to the commercial, but I'm watching it as well. And then they show Star Trek, one of the movies from Star Trek. I'm like, this thing played movies?
Yeah.
Which is, for 91, that was huge for it to be a multimedia. They even said, oh, it plays CDs, but it hooks up to my TV. You know what I mean? Like, it was in that Phil Hartman, like, he can't do anything that's not funny.
It's true. It's very true. But so that system unfortunately was destined for failure because the games on it were just ultimately not good. The only game that I saw in that commercial that I caught enough of that I recognized was The Seventh Guest, because The Seventh Guest was came out on PC and CDI.
Okay.
And there was one quick shot of it, of the staircase in the mansion, and that was the only thing.
That was?
Yeah, that was the only thing I picked up in that commercial. So all in all, it was I don't even want to say it was a great effort. I mean, they kind of wasted Phil Hartman because they really didn't sell the system to me. I couldn't.
No, it's like
at least for games.
Coloring game, like what?
Yeah.
A couple other things there. It was a little weird.
Yeah. But now we're talking again. We're talking CD. We're talking a CD-based system that finally released 2 years after TurboGrafx had already done it. But TurboGrafx at this point also, I don't think, was performing very well.
Okay.
So I think Philips, again, 2 years later, but they were still trying. They were trying to take over on that. Now we fast forward one more year to 1992, and we get Sega trying to get back. Trying to again get their one up on Nintendo now that the Super Nintendo had come out. And they decided to start what wound up becoming one of, I don't know how many add-ons to that Genesis.
See that meme recently?
The one that, I posted that on our page. It was just, Sega became notorious for just putting add-ons to their Genesis. And it started in 1992 with the Sega CD. So we're going to take a look at a Sega CD commercial and then chat about that.
Hey!
You still don't have a Sega CD? Huh? What are you waiting for? Nintendo to make one? You have seen the games, right? Wrong answer, man. Show 'em. Want to see more?
Yes. Sega CD. I remember this commercial.
I remember this commercial too, and you know what my response to this was at the time? I don't want somebody. I don't want somebody yelling at me to make me buy a system.
Really, that's what.
I felt a little more offended than I did anything else.
Oh man.
Wow.
No, this was angry. I like how it's labeled, angry black guy, screaming at you.
Yeah. That's ultimately what he did.
Yep, screaming at you through the TV. It's kind of like, and then it turns into like the old Magnavox commercial.
Yes.
Like for the audio tapes.
Yes.
You know,
when the guy got like blown away. Yeah.
Yeah, with the jet engine. Yeah. Another one. It was again the product of the '90s, the early '90s, where they just blow through the games. They just you know,
it's so
really
fast you can't even make it out.
Exactly.
They don't point out exactly like what about them makes it cooler. You know,
Yep.
I mean, you see little snippets of like full motion video and stuff like that, but that's about it. You don't understand how it works or what the full gameplay is. It was just more. It was more about Sega was always more about we're cooler than Nintendo. So they would always go for that type of commercial. It's like if we make it look cool, people are going to buy it.
The commercial even pointed out, what are you going to wait for Nintendo to make one?
Exactly.
Which, it took a while. So
exactly. So actually, Nintendo took about 10 years before they came out with a CD-based system or a disc-based system. And the other thing about this Sega CD commercial that's worth pointing out is they had a new tagline for it as well. Now
Welcome
we switched.
to the next level.
Welcome to the next level was their new tagline for this. So that was 1992, and that was the only system to come out in 1992.
Yeah.
But when we hit 1993, we got a couple of, unfortunately, it wound up becoming a couple of duds. But 93, the Atari Jaguar came out. And now they were trying to do the ultimate selling point of you had 16-bit graphics on your Genesis, on your Super Nintendo, and then you had your Philips CDI and your Sega CD, which was aiming more towards full motion video. Atari Jaguar's platform was, we're 64-bit. We're not even 32. We jumped way over to 64-bit. So let's take a look at the Atari Jaguar commercial and how they showcase their quote-unquote 64-bit system.
Some of you believe your system is the most advanced in the universe. Let's review the numbers. Sega Genesis is 16 bits. 3DO is 32 bits. The Atari Jaguar is 64 bits. Which is more advanced? Clifford! 16 and 32 are less than 64. So with 64 bits, 3D graphics, real-world animation, and lightning speed that you can only get with Jaguar, which is more advanced? Clifford!
Can you repeat the question?
Jaguar! Jaguar! Jaguar!
All right, Larry, so which one is more advanced?
Well, by the numbers, apparently.
Do the math.
That's probably why I never got this system. I didn't want to do the math.
Yeah, it's very true. The other issue with this system, ultimately, is that it wasn't actually 64-bit.
No, it wasn't.
It was not. They kind of lied a little bit, and that was the last Atari system we saw ever. Well, for a very long time until this new Atari box that they're talking about now, that you have pre-ordered.
Now here's the thing with this commercial, which makes me wonder how much faith they had in the games, because for a 30-second commercial, there was what?
5 seconds.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, about 5 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah.
That was it.
It's entirely possible that the games weren't completed yet, or they really did not have a lot of faith in the games selling the system. But yeah, it was actually very noticeable. 25 seconds on the creative, around 5 seconds of gaming.
Who was that actress in that Robin Williams movie Toys? The woman who was like the toy?
Oh, I don't remember her name.
You know of who I'm talking about, though.
Oops. I just unplugged my headphones.
Oh. Hey, you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Yeah, you're going to echo for a minute. And there's my little notice that my headphones are back.
And we're back.
Back
She looks like her. I can't remember her name.
I can't.
Someone famous.
That wasn't Missy Pyle, was it?
No, it was like Jane. Jane.
If only we had a phone that can give us the answer.
Oh my gosh. This is what happens, folks. This is what happened last week as well.
Yeah, this happens all the time. Dude, just IMDb. Where is my IMDb?
Joan Cusack.
Joan Cusack, got it.
Joan Cusack. If for a second, I know it's not.
It
but
wasn't
for a
her.
second, it looked like Joan Cusack.
Definitely was not her.
No, it wasn't her.
Now,
yeah, no, Jaguar just it didn't do well. Even though what's weird is even in today, there's people still making homebrews for the Jaguar.
Oh, I mean, I think they make homebrews for almost every system. Then again, I don't think anybody's bothering with the CDI per se, but but who knows? The other system that came out in '93, which was also a commercial failure, was Panasonic's first foray into.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. No, it wasn't their first foray. I think they tried something in they tried something in the '70s. I think. I feel like they did.
Probably, I don't remember.
I think they did. I forgot the name of it though. But anyway, they decided to come out with the 3DO, and actually, their commercial for the 3DO was really interesting and strangely dark, and you're going to find out why when you watch it or just we describe it.
We'll vote. Here we go.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system, what are you playing with? Presenting 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe. It's time to put away your toys.
Get a free John Madden Football and Crash and Burn when you buy a 3DO system.
So what did you think of that one?
Lies, all lies. I've played a 3DO. Not all lies.
Yeah. Well, just to describe the opening of it a little bit for people who are just listening to the podcast, they open the commercial showing the Super Nintendo falling into what looks like a coffin, and then it's followed by the Sega Genesis with the Sega CD attached to it, also falling into a coffin, and then the lid closes on it, and it says toys on the top. So it's actually a toy box, but they make it look like it's a coffin.
Yeah, and you hear the music in the background. It's very, like, childish for the opening.
Yes.
The lid comes down, basically, what are you playing with? Toys, and then they blast through all their games on the 3DO. Most advanced system, that's debatable. Mm-hmm. Because, for a system that had a, games that some of it weren't even games. It were just, like, comedy routines.
Yeah.
Disguised as games. The 3DO, it was good. I remember this commercial vividly. But, again, it's weird. It's just they're not really... I mean, this one shows more gameplay. Mm-hmm. But to me, it always seems like the way they want it to come off is also like this blockbuster sound. Same with the other one, the Sega CD. Like, the way he's getting blown back. That graphics aren't going to do that. It would be the sound that would do that. And yes, they had CD quality sound, but it was just kind of the advertising was so different back then. It's funny looking at it compared to today.
Well, what I like about the also tagline for this one, I feel like all of them like they start interrogating you in a way. I'm like, so the 3DO tagline. What are you playing with? And fine. What am I playing with? Not the 3DO.
Basically.
Sorry. So that Larry, I would love to go through the rest of this list. But I feel like we've been going on for a while already.
We have.
This has definitely been a bear. So what I would like to propose is that we're going to do a two-parter for the 90s retro TV ads. So we're actually going to move the second half of this, the 32-bit and the 64-bit era, into next week's episode.
Works for me.
Yep, and this is becoming a three-parter. This is definitely this was bigger than I had envisioned. Definitely.
This is a grandiose, but it's amazing to watch this old stuff.
It really is.
And it's just funny to be like, what were they trying to pass? Or like even, did these companies have this much faith in some of these systems that they truly thought, this is going to be a market stealer. And then, of course, history, proves sometimes otherwise.
Exactly. So, well, it was just everybody trying to get in the game because, again, once Nintendo had basically resurrected the video game industry in the 80s, everybody decided to jump back in. Because remember, after the crash in the early 80s, all those companies, Magnavox, Atari, Coleco, like all of the Panasonic, Sears, like all of these companies that were making systems, they just ran away because they thought it was that's it. They thought the fad is over, it's not coming back.
Yep.
And then Nintendo brought it back, and they're like, oh crap, we all need to jump back into this and take advantage of it. And you know what? As it turned out, most of them wound up just crashing and burning again.
That's
unfortunate for them.
That's watching history dictate what happened in the long run. Sometimes make these even funnier than their intent was.
Exactly. So for anybody out there who's listening or watching, it's like, what were some of your favorite systems, and do you remember any specific commercials that aired that like sold you on a game or a system or something like that? Share it up on our page. We would love to take a look at those because let's face it, there are some commercials that are just outright awesome and outright awful and outright hysterical, and we would definitely love to see some of those.
Absolutely.
Larry, we got a new mini segment this week, and I just thought it would be fitting for this episode since we're talking about video game commercials of the 90s. I thought we can do just a little fact check on, of the systems that we mentioned today, which one was the worst selling console?
Ooh.
So we talked about the TurboGrafx 16, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the Neo Geo, the 3DO, the Atari Jaguar, and the Sega Philips CDI, and the Sega CD.
Yep.
Which one was the worst selling?
I'm immediately going to take out the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the TurboGrafx, the Sega CD. Those are all out.
Okay.
Jaguar. I'm going to narrow it down to the third parties, if you will, Panasonic and Philips. I'm going to go Philips. Philips CDI.
Well, the correct answer is the Atari Jaguar.
Wow, really? I didn't know it was that bad.
The Atari Jaguar only sold 250,000 units.
That's bad. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So strangely enough, the 3DO, and this is actually the surprise for me out of all of this. I wasn't surprised about the Jaguar. I was actually surprised that the 3DO sold 2 million units.
Really?
Yeah, that's way more than I thought it would have.
That is a lot.
Yeah. So apparently people had more faith in the 3DO than we thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, but nobody had faith in the Jaguar, including us, because I guess that's what happens when you lie. And that is this week's worst selling console.
Oh man, that actually was very fun. Like I said, when I was listening to you and Frank do it, I was like, oh man, I want to get in on that, and I did, and this was really cool.
Yeah, no, I really, it's a different way of walking down memory lane and looking at some retro stuff. Because I mean, we can talk about the games and playing the games as all we want, but it's easy to forget on what sold us on the games to begin with.
Oh, exactly, like how they get into our homes, and a lot of these I do remember. Again, a lot of these I don't remember. Next week we're going to talk some more. What's good about next week's systems is that they're closer to where we are now, so they're a little newer. So maybe they'll be a little fresher in our memories.
Exactly. But they just may not be. Who knows? Like doing the research on it, I saw a few commercials for the later ones that I don't remember seeing at all. And that could be that I'm getting senile in my old age, or I just never saw those commercials. I don't know.
Well, we're going to find out next week.
Yes, we are.
When we do part 3, our first ever part 3.
Part 3 of Retro Adness.
Yeah. Ooh, yes.
Retro Adness.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot. And definitely let us know,
Larry, I don't know what's going on, but your mic seems to be giving some trouble.
Oh, okay.
There you are. You're back. I don't know what happened there, but go ahead.
And I'm back. Put this over here.
What were you saying?
I was saying, like you said before, let us know some of the commercials that you remember. Maybe you remember commercials for other systems that we haven't talked about. I'm talking about not the popular ones. Like anyone ever an N-Gage commercial or something like that, or one of those Target electronic commercials, maybe.
We didn't go over handhelds, so like, how about that Atari Lynx or the Sega Game Gear or Game Boy commercial that you remember fondly?
So let us know. Facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast. In fact, everywhere. Instagram as well, and YouTube, Retro Gamers Podcast, and of course our website, theretrogamers.com. Hit us up. Let us know.
Why did you turn that into a cheer?
So that's what we're going to do. That's it. Hit us up. Let us know.
Stop.
Dan.
Stop. You're not allowed to sing on this podcast either.
Well, now I'm dancing.
Yeah, but the cool thing is, though, is that I can edit something over you. So while you're dancing, I'll just I'll put like a weird head on you or something.
As long as I'm still moving.
Okay.
Moving and shaking. So, but we're going to bring episode 104 to a close for this week.
Yep.
And now we're pretty much back on schedule. We're just going to continue forwarding with this wonderful show of ours. We actually have, we're going to be soon have our, I'm not going to say live, but like in person, we're going to be meeting up soon in November. So that's coming up quickly.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. The Retro Gamers reunite in person.
Yeah, for the first time ever from the West Coast.
Yeah, that's right, from the West Coast for the first time. Although before that happens, we may actually be doing one from the East Coast because I am coming. Well, it's possible I'm coming back in October. I just don't know if I'll have time.
That's why I kind of skipped over it. I'm not going to see you in October.
Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll do it from the Nassau Coliseum.
There you go.
We'll do it in the parking lot, the four of us.
Sure, I can make it happen.
Absolutely.
I'll find a space backstage for us.
That's right. We can merge with Up, Down, Down.
That's right.
We just got a Guinness World Record, actually.
Oh, very nice.
The most YouTube subscribers for a celebrity game channel.
Wow. That's awesome.
Very specific.
All right, very cool. We're going to have to beat that record.
We're going to try.
Well, I'll have a talk with the guys when we go visit.
So, but stay tuned to not only Facebook, but now we know how to do it on YouTube for live streaming. So, actually, now that the gears are running, if you're able to pull up two browsers, you may be able to see me versus Anthony in games. One on Facebook, one on YouTube.
Very true.
We're gonna have to figure that one out.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge. But if you do one and I do the other, it can be simultaneous. We'll make it happen. Don't worry.
The internet will explode, and not so.
Just like my head's going to.
So with that, I'm going to let you go. We've had a long weekend. Again, we want to congratulate Josh over there at Victims and Villains for the 48-hour Hope Station Marathon. If you still want to vote, PayPal. Yep. Vote. If you want to PayPal.me/victimsandvillains. And otherwise, I guess we'll bring this one to a close.
We're going to bring this one to a close. Everybody have a very wonderful Labor Day weekend, and we'll catch you on the other side of it.
And with that, we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast. See ya.